Coming up in this Brightline construction update. This update looks at the progress around Melbourne, Florida during April 2021. We'll start at the Pineda Causeway and work south through Melbourne, ending up in Palm Bay. Looking north from Pineda Causeway, and you can see how far ties have been laid so far. Century Boulevard, where my last video ended, can be seen in the distance. From about a half mile south of Pineda, here's a closer look at the ties laid out, waiting for rail to be attached. The bridge in the distance is the new Pineda Causeway Bridge that has only been open for a few months and eliminated a grade crossing. North of Post Road is where the future Pineda crossover will be. South of the crossing, signal crews were installing new cables. South of Parkway, a new siding will be built along with the double track so the local train can work the CMEX plant without blocking the main line. Driving south on US 1 provides a look at the right-of-way preparations. The curve here will be broadened so trains will be able to pass at a higher speed. Subroadbed is spread to the Masterson Street crossing. South of Masterson, a small berm has been built on the west side of the existing main line, and subroadbed and ties have been laid on the east side. Crews have also cleared the slot that the railroad owns that had been previously covered with trash that people had dumped and had been overtaken by the homeless. Looking north from Aurora Road, and there are ties on the west side, while in the previous clip they are on the east side. This is a location where a track shift will happen. Essentially, the main line will be cut with half shifted to one side to connect to the new track on the east, and the other half will be shifted the other way to connect to the new track on the west. The resulting mainline tracks will be a mixture of old and new. Looking south from Aurora also provides a view of the ties laid out. North of Eau Gallie Blvd, subroadbed has been laid. In the distance here is the Ogalley River Bridge. I will provide an in-depth look at it in my next video. South of Sarno Road, new signals are up and subroadbed has been spread. The white tubes next to the signals are for shunts that will help with troubleshooting problems during future signal maintenance. Materials are starting to show up for the rebuilding of Babcock Street. The siding that was north of the crossing has been removed and will be rebuilt attached to the second main line, which will be built in its former footprint. South of Babcock Street, ties were stacked, ready to be spread out. An excavator with a special attachment for spreading out the ties with a uniform spacing is parked in the distance at the location of the CP Melbourne crossovers. I came back a few days later and the ties had been spread out with rail attached to them. The yellow machine attaches the tie clips, which connect the rail to the ties. South of NASA Boulevard, another section of track is waiting to be attached to the crossing. The signals are for CP Melbourne. Another section of rails and ties are assembled north of Hibiscus Avenue. South of Seminole Avenue, the right-of-way has been dug out and is waiting for Subroadbed to be delivered. New crossing protection has been installed at this crossing as well. The Fee Avenue crossing was recently rebuilt for double track. The section of panel track in the crossing is the only new track laid around here so far. The crosshatch pattern painted on the crossing is part of the dynamic envelope to help identify where drivers should not stop. At Lincoln Avenue, new crossing protection is installed but not in service yet, hence the black plastic wrap. Materials are arriving for this crossing to be rebuilt, which is the next crossing scheduled to be done in this area. South of Palmetto Avenue, nothing has been done since the right-of-way was excavated in preparation for Subroadbed. North of Jernigan Avenue is another location where a track shift like I described earlier will be done. You can see new track assembled on either side of the main line here. North of the crossing is the existing Palm Bay siding and a storage area for construction equipment. The University Boulevard crossing is triple tracked with 2 mainline tracks and a team track siding. A gantry signal will be installed over the tracks here as well. At Hessey Avenue, flaggers were present. Crews from RJ Corman were changing out the rails on the Palm Bay siding. While this kind of work is happening, signal cables are not attached to the rail, so if a train passes on the track not being worked on, the crossing protection may not activate, hence the flaggers. High-rail excavators pull the new rail into place and crews follow behind, attaching it to the ties. The white truck is an electric flash butt welder to weld the new pieces of rail together. This piece of red track equipment is equipped with rail heaters. Rail expands and contracts based on the ambient temperature, so this machine will heat up the rail if it needs to be expanded to fill any gaps between rails before it is welded. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the like button and subscribe. Also check out my social media pages.